Okay, so you want to dive into a classic pairing today, Gemini and Libra compatibility. You know, that air sign combo. We're going to see what we can find, dig into what makes them work, at least according to this relationship guide we found. It should be fun, right? See where the sparks fly, maybe where things get a little bumpy. But we're not just going to, like, read it to you. We'll break it down, see if it makes sense, you know?
Yeah, because just knowing they're both air signs doesn't really tell us much, does it?
Exactly. It's like you both like pizza. You'll be great together.
Right.
There's got to be more to it.
Way more to it.
Okay.
And that's where it gets interesting. Because, okay, for anyone new to this whole astrology thing, air signs, they're all about communication, right? They love ideas, seeing things from different angles.
So when this guide, like, throws out that mental connection thing, it's not just like some vague idea. It's pointing to how these two actually connect.
Exactly.
Talking, sharing ideas, that constant mental back and forth.
Yeah. It's like they speak the same language, even when they're disagreeing, which, let's be real, happens.
I'm sure.
But that understanding, that foundation, that could be huge GE in a relationship.
Especially when things get tough, because it's not always sunshine and roses, right?
No, absolutely not. That's why we're here.
Yeah.
Got to look at the strengths, but also the challenges.
And this guy did not hold back, especially when it came to, well, intimacy. Apparently, Geminis can help Libras open up in the bedroom. Something about Libra's fragile ego and Gemini's charm.
Okay, let's be careful with that fragile ego thing. It's not that Libras are weak, not at all. It's more that they value harmony, balance, sometimes to the point of avoiding conflict.
I see.
So Gemini's playful side, even if it's meant to be nice, you can feel like an attack disrupt that balance they crave.
So it's less about being fragile and more about protecting that sense of peace, of fairness.
Exactly. And that's where that opening up dynamic comes in. Geminis are naturally curious. They see all sides of everything. They can help Libras feel safe enough to explore, to go a little deeper, with their emotions, their desires.
Like drawing them out of their shell.
Yes. But it's a two-way street. Geminis need to be aware of their words, their tone, especially with a Libra's sensitive heart.
Makes sense. So we've got this shared intellectual energy, which is great, but also this potential for, like, miscommunication. Different styles, different emotional needs.
Exactly. And that's where it gets really interesting.
Yeah.
Because can they navigate that? Can they build something lasting? Or are they doomed to repeat the same patterns over and over?
Okay, but what about trust?
Right.
That's a big one, right? And this guide seemed to think Libras are good at reading people. Like, they really know when someone's legit. And when they commit, they are IN. But then there's Gemini with that reputation for, well, being adaptable.
Yeah, it's like two different pictures. On the one hand, you've got Libra, the scales, weighing everything carefully, especially partners. They're not just looking for a fling, right?
Makes sense.
They want someone worthy of their trust, someone to build a future with.
Totally. If you're all about balance, you're not going to just jump into anything.
Exactly. So when a Libra commits, it's because they believe in it, the connection, the potential.
Right.
But then you've got Gemini, adaptable, curious.
Always exploring.
Exactly. New things, new people sometimes.
And that's where things get tricky. Because if a Libra senses that, even a little, that grass is greener vibe, it throws everything off.
Totally. It disrupts that balance they've built.
Exactly.
And again, not saying Geminis can't be trusted.
Yeah.
But that need for change, for novelty.
It clashes with Libra's need for stability.
Yes.
So how do you even deal with that? We all want excitement, right?
Correct.
But not at the cost of security.
Absolutely. And that's where talking is key. Like, really talking. Geminis, reassure your Libra partner, hey, I love trying new things, but you're my rock,
And Libras, be open to those new things.
Yes.
Even if it's a little outside your comfort zone.
Because sometimes doing those things together, it actually makes the bond stronger.
It's about finding that middle ground, right? Honoring yourselves, A and D growing together. Speaking of balance, though, this guy did not hold back about communication clashes.
Yeah, it was interesting how, even though they're both air signs, their communication can be like ships passing in the night.
Which is wild. They're both supposed to be good at that.
Right. But think of it like this. Gemini, quick wit, loves to tease.
Oh, yeah.
Libra, sensitive to fairness, to harmony.
Right.
What one says casually, the other takes personally.
Oh.
It's like different dialects of the same language almost.
So how do you stop those breakdowns from happening?
Self-awareness is huge. Geminis, think about your words, your tone, especially with sensitive topics. Could this be taken the wrong way?
And Libras?
Don't assume it's an attack right away if something's bugging you. Talk about it. but from a place of curiosity, not blame.
Hey, what did you mean by that?
Exactly. Sometimes, just clarifying is enough.
Okay, so we've covered communication, trust, even how they can clash, even with good intentions. Now for something a little more fun, maybe. Emotions.
Ah, yes. The heart of it all. And this guide, well, it was a mixed bag on this one.
Fixed bad how?
On one hand, you've got Libra, ruled by Venus.
Love and beauty, right.
Exactly. They're in tune with their emotions. And they want that same depth from their partner.
The grand gestures, deep conversation.
All of that. That emotional connection, feeling truly seen.
Makes sense.
But then, you've got Gemini, ruled by Mercury.
Communication. Intellect.
Right. They experience things more mentally.
Analyzing their feelings instead of just feeling them.
It's like Libra's writing love letters. Gemini's writing essays about love.
Oh.
Not
yeah.
that Geminis don't feel deeply, but they express it differently.
How so?
Humor, intellectual debates, acts of service.
Not so much the big declarations.
Right. And to a Libra, that can feel like mismatched love languages.
Yeah, I see that.
And if a Libra feels unfulfilled, they might withdraw.
Look elsewhere for that connection. So can you bridge that gap? You can't force someone to be more emotional, right?
No, absolutely not. But you can learn to speak each other's language.
Yeah.
Geminis, figure out what makes your Libra feel loved.
And Libras.
Be patient. Those expressions might be subtle, but they're still real.
It's about meeting in the middle.
Exactly. Feeling seen, heard, emotionally fulfilled. And this is where it gets interesting again, because despite all that, this guide also said, there's potential for incredible passion between these two.
Really? But we were just saying.
I know, right?
Huh?
It seems contradictory. But think about it. Gemini brings that playful energy, that love of new things.
The excitement.
Yes. And Libra creates the space for that passion to grow.
So it's like Gemini throws the party, Libra sets the mood.
Exactly. It's about finding that synergy, that spark. But it takes work, you know? Understanding, compromise.
Embracing the differences.
Yes.
So there's potential, right?
Oh, tons.
But it takes work.
It always does, right?
It's not just about, like, not arguing.
Right, it's more than that.
It's about letting that passion grow.
Exactly. And that can mean, pushing each other.
Which brings us to, well, this guide said Libras can be total chameleons in love.
Oh, yeah.
Like, they immerse themselves in their partner's world.
It's true, they do.
Which, I mean, on the surface, it's like, oh, that's so sweet, so supportive.
Right.
But it could be a slippery slope, right?
It can be.
Especially for a sign that's all about balance, being true to themselves.
Because they can lose themselves in that. Trying to please their partner,
And then no one's happy.
Exactly.
So how do you even find that balance? Being open to new things, but not losing who you are.
Communication, for sure. And boundaries. Libras, you got to speak up. This is me. This isn't me.
Don't be afraid of that.
And Geminis, remember, Libras go with the flow.
Yeah.
Make sure they're really into it, not just doing it for you.
Creating a space where you can both explore.
But not at the cost of, your own identities.
And speaking of shared worlds, this guide set a big strength for these two. Is their shared love of, well, knowledge.
Oh, absolutely.
Learning new things.
That intellectual connection is huge.
Like, even if they're not vibing on an emotional level,
Yeah.
they can still talk about ideas.
Exactly. Books, movies, whatever gets them thinking.
It's like a different kind of intimacy, almost.
It really is.
Not just physical, but mental.
That shared curiosity.
And that can be so many things.
Oh, yeah.
Classes, lectures, those late-night debates Geminis love.
All of that. Even just reading together,
Quietly but connected.
Exactly. It's those little things that build a strong bond.
Speaking of which, the guide's last point, and maybe the most interesting, it said Gemini can be the teacher, lover, and friend to Libra.
Wow, that's a lot.
Right? Is that even possible?
That's the question, isn't it?
Can Gemini be all of those things?
And especially to a sign like Libra.
Who needs that balance, that harmony, the deep
It
connection?
really makes you think.
And maybe there's no one answer,
Right.
It depends on the people, how much effort they're willing to put in.
Absolutely. How willing they are to grow, to change.
To embrace those different sides.
Because ultimately, astrology can give us hints, insights,
Roadmaps, even.
but we decide how we use them.
Exactly. So to everyone out there navigating this whole Gemini-Libra thing,
We want to hear from you.
have you found that intellectual spark? What about those communication hurdles? Did you overcome them?
Share your stories.
Because every relationship is its own journey, right?
Totally. And sometimes the best advice comes from each other.
Absolutely.
So until next time, keep exploring, keep connecting.
And keep talking.